Welcome back, YouTube and fellow berserkers. Today I'm filming a short video about the Odin figure in one of my previous videos that everybody's been asking me about. So today, here it is, the video about my Odin totem, I guess you could say, and figures that also the other two I have there. I'm going to explain a little bit about those and in detail about what they are. Let me switch on the lights and then I can get right to the topic. Starting from left to right, which would be from this perspective, this would be my Odin figure. I carved this. These figures are all three carved out of a piece of oak beam from one of my friend's houses. He's tearing down his house and he brought me a whole bunch of these beams. And I had the idea to use them for something else actually, but I started to get this idea that I'd like to carve some figures for my Viking Camp. After going to one of the medieval markets, I saw this guy. He was carving. That's all they did was carve figures of the Viking gods, and they were so nice that it inspired me that I have to have something like that. And I'm a kind of handy person. It probably would take me years to acquire the skills that he had, but I'm sure I'd come up with something that I'd be happy with to display on certain occasions and keep around as something special. So here they are. So I thought I'd take out old Odin the other day and make a nice video for you guys, especially being that nice tree out in the forest. It was a perfect match for bringing the Odin figure out. And now I also have Loki and Thor. Now you're going to ask me, why Loki? Well, one of the reasons is at the medieval market, one of the guys, he had a figure of Loki and the face was just so sinister and so evil, and it was just really inspiring how he carved it. I wanted to see if I could actually get the detail down myself, and that's one of the reasons now that I have this Loki figure. I've been asked about that on my comments, and there's a lot of controversy about it, yes, but also that's one of the reasons why I have this Loki figure, is because I really wanted to try to see if I can put the sinister, evil smile on a face, carving it out of a piece of wood. And I think I did a halfway decent job displaying the character of the figure, of the symbolic meaning of the figure of Loki onto a somewhat detailed figurine there. I'm actually quite pleased with it. It does look quite evil and the sly one. Although there's a lot of Loki is a figure to be studied on his own, as a matter of fact. If you do have any interest in the Viking gods, I mean, you could study that as a master's degree and write books on that. But that's a story for another day. I'm not a specialist on that topic. I don't know enough to even make a great conversation about that. I just know what I'm interested in and those things that I've just touched base on, and that's kind of what got me inspired to carve these figures as well. I really wanted to have a figure of Odin and Thor, and the Loki figure just kind of came about out of kind of like a challenge, just to put it into perspective that way. Now I have Thor over here. Now if I move these, I'm going to have to be very careful. I have some candles set up here. Now these figures here are carved out of oak beams, if I mentioned that already, and they were pretty much going to the scrap, and he gave me as much as that as I wanted. I carried home on my trailer probably 3 loads of oak beams, and we're planning to do some projects with those in the future here, especially this coming up winter time, summertime of 2020 and 2021, the summertime. I'm going to be using those oak posts that I have. I'll probably use all of them and have to go find some more. As I expand the Viking Camp out, I'm planning to incorporate those antique posts into some of my structures. The Thor figure is especially important to me because I think Thor, the ideology behind Thor has given me on some days has given me the push to find the energy I need to make it through a really tough time. And this figure here was the first one I carved, actually, the figure of Thor. I'm going to very carefully move these out of the way here so I can show you them individually so that you don't miss out on any of the detail. We'll be seeing these figures a little bit more towards the summertime as I get to display them outside. I'm going to set up a little station. Once my camp gets evolved a little bit better, I'd like to set up a little permanent station. So here's my figure of Thor. And of course, the beard and he's got Mjolnir here. It's a tongue twister. And Thor's hammer. He's holding it here. And I've got some runes to spell out his name. And oak was really hard to carve. This oak is about 100 to 120-year-old oak beams. It's from an old German house here. It's really typical to have that kind of woodwork in the framework in the roofing. Some sections of it were kind of rotten, so I shaved most of that down, which was easy to carve off, and then you got down to some good heartwood on where it wasn't rotten too bad, and it worked really nice. And carving, the greatest challenge was actually carving the runes, because my carving skills aren't that great, and then I went ahead and used the most difficult wood to carve in the first place, which is oak. It's super tough. It dulls your tools quite quickly, and I had to sharpen them often. It means kind of a lot to me. It's been a special display of, it's kind of a symbol of success in my life. It's giving me something to manifest on my journey through life here in the last couple of years, especially with the Viking Camp and the project here with our Berserker Gang 2019 YouTube channel. It's opened a door for me, and I think this figure, it really symbolizes a new beginning and something that I really care about a lot. The idea of Thor and the idea behind what he stands for has given me a lot of energy to push through some really difficult times here in the last year and a half. I put it into, I was going to say stone, but I carved it on wood here, yes. So there it is. Backed by popular demand, Odin. Yes. I carved this one in inspiration to some popular pictures on the internet. I went around and read some books out of the idea of what Odin might look like. Now there's controversy to which eye he has actually missing. The most popular version that I could find on the internet was the left eye. So I went with this version, and it's the one I'm most popularly familiar with. So I have Odin here with his shield, and he's also got, if you can't see it too much, I freshly oiled these just for this video one more time, because they were sitting here around the basement a little bit for a long time and collecting some dust. So I put a fresh coat of oil on this for you guys. So he's got his spear and his shield. And now I was going to carve some ravens and stuff, but it was getting into the point where this project was costing me more energy and time than I wanted to invest in it at that time. That's something I might come back into later. I could probably even still get some ravens carved and nail them on, or attach them somehow, or even here just carve them down on this wood here. It's something I could be constantly working on. It's something you have to be in the mood for. You have to have the muse and the creativity, the movement and inspiration to do that kind of job, so it looks nice and you do a proper, put enough energy and effort into it that it actually satisfies my expectations. This isn't the kind of work I enjoy doing too much. Carving, it was a great experience to try to get into it, and I bought a bunch of tools and I got some basic knowledge, and it was fun. And I'm really happy with how these came out. Some of these have some of the flaws where the wood was still rotten, and I didn't want to plane them in the perfect blocks because that takes out some of the character. So I used an axe and some wood chisels, and I had to use the Dremel tool as well here and there to make some detail. And then I just darkened in and highlighted in the deeper sections. Well, there you go. There's the Odin figure. A little bit about the history of how I came to this particular figure and to the other two. It's like, and you'll be seeing these figures here in the future on some following videos. I'm going to be incorporating them from time to time on special occasions so that they'll be integrated in the Viking Camp scenario. It's going to be very nice. And I'll be adding on to that as well. I'll be adding new figures. That's something I'm going to add on to the Viking Camp as it shapes and forms into what it becomes. Each year it changes, and I'm going to have a special spot for these figures to go. And I'm going to figure out where that is when the time comes. I have a little bit of decoration here just for show. Today I have some incense going, and it was really nice for the pictures I was taking earlier. I was trying to make some real epic pictures. I've got some bones I've collected. This is a wild boar skull and some of a tinder horseshoe fungus, tinder fungus, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I've got some bones set up, so this is really nice. So this video was all about the Odin figure that you guys requested I make a video on. So that's it, YouTube. There you have it. Odin carved out of one of the beams out of my buddy Sven's house. And he's probably going to watch this, so there you go, Sven. This is what I made out of some of your wooden beams. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the short video. If you're new to my channel and you really like what you're seeing, it really helped out if you subscribe and click the like button and the little bell. And like always now, thanks for tuning in, and stay safe, and see you soon.